April 1864. The American Civil War has been raging for 3 bloody years. Every Union general before him has failed. Every strategy has crumbled. The Confederate Army seems invincible. And Ulysses S. Grant just took command of all Union forces. Here's what happened to every Union commander before Grant. They'd march toward Richmond, the Confederate capital. They'd fight General Robert E. Lee. They'd lose thousands of men. And then, they'd retreat. Every single time. Lincoln had been through 5 commanders: McDowell, McClellan, Burnside, Hooker, Meade. Brilliant men, all of them. But they all followed the same pattern: attack, suffer losses, pull back, regroup. Lee was a tactical genius. He knew this pattern. He counted on it. Then came Grant. May 5, 1864. Grant's army clashes with Lee in a dense forest called the Wilderness. It's chaos. Trees catch fire. Wounded men burn alive. The Union loses 17,000 soldiers in 2 days. 17,000. Grant's officers prepare for the familiar routine. Pack up. Retreat north. Lick your wounds. Try again next spring. But on May 7, Grant does something no Union general has ever done. He turns south. Toward Lee. Toward Richmond. Deeper into Confederate territory. Picture the faces of those Union soldiers. They've been conditioned to expect retreat. Some are literally marching north, packing their gear, when the orders come. We're going south. One soldier writes home, "We could hardly believe our ears." When the column turned south, the men began to cheer. We finally have a general who fights. Lee couldn't believe it either. His entire strategy depended on Union generals retreating after heavy losses. Grant changed the rules. What happened next wasn't glorious. It was brutal. Grant fought Lee at Spotsylvania. Lost thousands. Kept moving south. Fought him at Cold Harbor. Lost 7,000 men in 20 minutes. One of the worst Union defeats of the war. Grant's own officers begged him to stop. Politicians in Washington called him a butcher. Newspapers demanded his removal. But Grant wrote to Lincoln, "I propose to fight it out on this line if it takes all summer." Same strategy. Every single day. No matter the cost. Here's what consistency does that brilliance can't. Lee was the better tactician. He won more battles. But Grant understood something deeper. Lee's army couldn't replace its losses. Every Confederate soldier killed or wounded was one less man. But the Union could resupply, reinforce, rebuild. So Grant didn't need to win every battle. He needed to show up for every fight. By June, Lee's army was trapped at Petersburg. The Confederate supply lines were cut. The war of movement became a siege. And sieges? The side with more resources always wins. Grant's overland campaign cost 60,000 Union casualties. 60,000 fathers, sons, brothers. The price of consistency is never cheap. But here's what it bought: Lee surrendered on April 9, 1865. Less than 1 year after Grant took command. Every previous Union general had fought Lee for months or years and achieved nothing. Grant fought him continuously for 11 months and ended the war. After the war, someone asked Grant about his strategy. He said something remarkable: "The art of war is simple enough. Find out where your enemy is. Get at him as soon as you can. Strike him as hard as you can, and keep moving on. No fancy tactics. No elaborate plans. Just relentless, unwavering consistency." Lee was more creative. More tactically brilliant. But Grant was more consistent. And in the end, consistency beat brilliance. Think about your own battles. Maybe you're building something. Learning something. Fighting for something. You'll have your wilderness moments. Days where everything burns and you lose more than you thought you could afford to lose. The world is designed to make you retreat. To make you quit. To make you try a different approach, a different direction, a different dream. But what if you just kept going? Not recklessly. Not stupidly. But with the same clear-eyed determination, day after day. Grant didn't win because he was the smartest general. He won because he was the most consistent one. In 1868, Ulysses S. Grant became President of the United States. They didn't elect him because he never lost a battle. They elected him because he never quit fighting. That's the thing about consistency. It doesn't always feel heroic in the moment. But it changes history.